A group of 12 migrants from the newly opened asylum centres in Albania have been returned to Italy. A group of 12 migrants from the newly opened asylum processing centres in Albania have been returned to Italy following a court decision in Rome. The group arrived on board an Italian Coast Guard boat from Albania's port of Shenzhen after the court argued they could not be sent back to their countries of origin, Bangladesh and Egypt, for safety reasons. They were part of a group of 16 who were intercepted in international waters and sent to 2 processing centres in Albania that opened last week. The centres are part of a 5-year deal with Albania to host 3,000 migrants a month picked up by the Italian Coast Guard, where they will be vetted for possible asylum in Italy or sent back to their home countries. The court's latest decision has come as a blow to Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who had hailed the deal as a new model to handle illegal migration.
Prime Minister Michel Barnier says processing migrants in Albania won't work for France for legal reasons. Barnier was speaking in Menton, a French town near the Italian border, where he met Italy's Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani to discuss border control and illegal immigration. After that meeting, in a post on X, Barnier said that both countries had agreed to set up a special brigade to clamp down on migrant trafficking over the Franco-Italian border. Last week, Italy formally opened 2 return hub centres in Albania where it plans to process thousands of asylum seekers. Up to 3,000 migrants will be sheltered in Albania every month under a 5-year deal signed last November. The controversial agreement to outsource asylum seeker processing to a non-EU member nation has been hailed by some countries, but it's also been slammed by human rights groups as setting a dangerous precedent. France has said it's concerned about growing military cooperation between Russia and North Korea after South Korea's spy agency said Pyongyang had sent troops to fight in Ukraine. If the South Korean intelligence is confirmed, the troop deployment would bring a third country into the war. The National Intelligence Service in Seoul said that Russian Navy ships transferred 1,500 North Korean Special Operations Forces to the Russian port city of Vladivostok from the 8th to the 13th of October. The North Korean soldiers have reportedly been given Russian military uniforms, weapons and forged identity documents. On Thursday, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that a third nation entering the hostilities could turn the conflict into a world war. North Korea has 1.2 million troops, one of the largest standing militaries in the world, but it hasn't fought in any large-scale conflict since the 1950 to 1953 Korean War.
A drone strike has been launched towards Prime Minister Netanyahu's residence in Caesarea, according to the Israeli government. The IDF said the drone was one of 3 launched from Lebanon, with the other 2 shot down. The short statement from Netanyahu's office came after the IDF said that a building had been hit in the town famous for its luxury villas and Roman ruins and amphitheatre. Neither Netanyahu nor his wife were at home at the time, and no casualties have been reported. Meanwhile, at least 1 person has been killed and others injured following a strike in the northern Israeli city of Haifa, as the IDF says more than 100 rockets have been fired at Israel from Lebanon. It comes as Israel continues its airstrikes on Gaza, with more than 50 people killed in 24 hours, according to local hospital officials.
Clean-up operations are underway after 2 days of torrential rain caused the worst flooding central France has seen in 40 years. Over 1,000 people were evacuated from several areas, but most were able to go back home on Friday. French weather agency Météo France said as much as 700 millimeters of rain fell in 48 hours in some parts of the southern regions of Ardèche and Lozère. The agency lifted its red alert on Friday but warned of potential heavy rain in southwestern areas.